we'd like to introduce our 8-year-old Molly Mule, Riata. She's a special girl, and despite her past reputation, she has been a huge blessing to our family. Riata sports an incredible dun coat with a dorsal stripe, transverse stripe, and distinct leg barring. She stands at 14 hands and is out of a quarter-horse mare and by a mammoth jack donkey. She's certainly a flashy girl and has become a trusted mountain companion. But it might surprise you that we only spent $2,300 on Riata and purchased her more as a rescue mission than anything. Let's go back a few years to understand where Riata came from and why we bought this mystery mule. In 2020, after spending a few years paying off $90,000 in consumer debt, buying our first home on acreage, building equine facilities, and purchasing a truck and trailer with no debt, we finally decided to get equines again. We started with my John mule, Clyde. We'll dive into Clyde's backstory in another video. Originally, I was looking at Clyde for my husband, Jason, but he decided to wait for his dream mule. We had found a picture on Pinterest of a zebra dun Molly mule, and I remember Jason saying, "Gosh, that would be my dream mule." Little did we know, a year later, we'd come across Riata's ad. Jason sent me the ad while I was working, along with a text that said, "Call them!" The ad was for a 5-year-old dun Molly mule. There were only a few pictures and she was listed for $2,200. I called right away and told them if they were willing to hold her until Saturday, we'd pay $2,300 if we decided to take her. Saturday rolled around and she was still available. So we made a few-hour drive with our trailer to go see her. Getting close! How excited are you?
7 right now.
Nervously optimistic?
Yeah.
I like it. The seller had mentioned issues with Riata on the phone, one being that she was hard to catch. When we pulled up their driveway, there she was, already tied to the trailer. He said they had to move the sheep that were in her field, and when she came into the barnyard with the flock, they cornered and roped her so she would be ready for us. That first glimpse of Riata is something I'll never forget. She was a good weight, but her long winter coat was shedding out in dreads along her top line. Her hooves were overgrown, she was tense, and her whole body showed that she was scared. But her eyes, although worried, were kind, and we instantly had a feeling about her. We spoke with the owner and learned that Riata was very hard to catch. You could shoe her, but only by putting her on a tilt table or sedating her. She had packed a little, but wasn't a fan of packing game quarters. They had tied her to a tree, hobbled her, and eared her down to get elk meat on her back. The seller told us she had to be ridden in a long-shanked, high-curb bit. He left to go grab the bridle, and that's when I noticed something. When he was out of sight, Riata took a deep breath. I approached her shoulder slowly and started calmly petting her. She was snorty and tight, but she slowly began to relax. When the seller came back and held up the headstall to show us the bit, that motion alone caused Riata to set back, like she expected to get smacked with it. The seller didn't seem to notice and went on about how you can't ride mules in a snaffle. We firmly disagreed in our minds, but just nodded and let him talk. He mentioned that a cowboy had ridden her quite a bit, but she wouldn't cross water, and they were tired of dealing with her. Jason and I didn't even have to talk about it. We just looked at each other and knew we were taking her home. We paid the $2,300, led her from their trailer to ours, and she launched right up into it. What do you think of her?
She's awesome.
I'm so happy.
She's pretty. She's nice too. I was just petting her through here, and she's just hanging
She's
out.
chilling there. She's a little nervous, but she's not too bad. Doing good. Oh, she's adorable. Look at her. She'll come around in no time.
Oh yeah.
We didn't know if she was sound, if she bucked, if we'd be able to catch her again once we turned her out at home. She had scarring on her nose from a halter being left on too long. She had deep scars in the corner of her mouth from a bit cutting into her at some point in her training. She had white marks on her shoulders from an ill-fitting saddle. But as we drove home with Riata, we knew we had made the right choice. Just grab her. She'll be alright. There she is. Nice. Clyde is in love. In the months that followed, Jason was patient and kind, focusing on building her trust.
The troubles of my heart, they're tearing me apart. How I need your saving hand to grant me a new start. Lonely and afraid, I call upon your name. Save me from my enemies and cover all my shame. I will lift my eyes from this fragile life, for you will rescue me. You are my Prince of Peace, and I lift up my soul to you who makes things whole. Oh, mercy, love of old, in you I place my hope. I place my hope.
Soon, we could catch her fairly quickly. He worked with her feet, and within the first month, the farrier was able to trim all 4 of her hooves without sedation. We started taking her for trail walks, and Jason worked on her confidence with creek crossings.
Help me to believe your love is all I need. Even when the storm is strong, you will provide for me. I will lift my eyes from this fragile life, for you will rescue me. You are my Prince of Peace, and I lift up my soul to you who makes things whole. Oh, mercy, love of old, in you I place my hope. I place my hope. I place my
Then came the day of Jason's first ride on Riata. He had worked hard to lay a foundation on the ground, and now was the moment of truth. The first ride was a huge success. She wasn't yet soft riding in a rope halter, but she never offered to buck. First steps on her saddle. Don't be a bronc, Riata.
That's good.
Good girl. It quickly became clear she was better with someone on her back than on the ground. We worked on getting her used to scary objects, gloves, backpacks, puffy coats, camo, fringe on chaps. In the beginning, everything was scary, and she bolted so hard a few times that she got away from us. But over time, she started trusting us both, and we began taking her out with Clyde for rides around the field. One evening, we went for a ride, and Riata suddenly took off at a fast slope. Jason tried to disengage her hindquarters and turn her to a stop. He finally slowed her down and rode back towards Clyde and me, only to have her bolt again. Something wasn't right. I had Jason climb down to check her, and that's when we found it. A piece of cactus had broken off and stuck into her side. Every time Jason pressed his heel against her, he pushed that cactus in further. The fact that Riata took off at a lope, never bucked, and stayed as calm as she could in that situation really showed us what a kind mule she was. Not long after that, we started taking her out on the trails.
where we're heading. See those two white dots of snow right in the middle. We're going above them to those trees, maybe.
She's become one of our most trusted equines in the mountains. She can still be a little leery of water crossing, mud, bridges, and packing wild game. But with patience and time, she works through it. We learned early on that too much pressure shuts Riata down.
Girl.
She freezes and refuses to move.
Good girl.
But if we slow down and reward even her smallest try, she's incredibly willing.
Good job, Riata.
Oh, that was pretty fast for you. That was...
Riata has become such a kind mule. She isn't big on pets, but she does enjoy a good mule hug from time to time. She still has her quirks and is untrusting of new people, but that doesn't matter to us. She has her forever home with our herd, and we'll continue to be patient with her. We've taken Riata on some incredible adventures over the years, and she's proven herself time and time again. She's carried Jason through the rugged Sawtooth Mountains, picking her way up steep switchbacks and rocky trails without missing a step. She stood quietly at high mountain lakes in the afternoon, watching the water ripple as we cast our lines, waiting for a bite. She's moved through herds of bison in Custer State Park.
Gotta see if she's slick or broke. We gotta find out after all. She was a little tight, but not terrible. She's doing amazing today. Give me some space there, Riata. Okay. That's pretty cool.
Carry Jason deep into Idaho's backcountry. And climb through the high desert of Oregon, where we explored old homesteads and forgotten cabins, tracing the history left behind by those who came before us. She's been there on long days in the saddle, searching for shed antlers and scouting for hunting season.
Nice.
Or picking her way through rocky terrain to reach hidden pictographs.
Good girl. Good girl.
Oh boy.
She's crossed rivers, climbed ridges, and handled everything from slick mud to shifting rock with the sure-footedness that makes mules so special. She even accepted the job when it came to helping us with our whitetails in the Midwest.
Everyone loves Rice Krispies treats, right? Even Riata. Oh, that's pretty good. Sea packing meat's not so bad.
You have Rice Krispies.
Yeah, you get snacks.
Beyond that, we've ridden parts of the historic California Trail, following in the footsteps of pioneers who traveled west in search of a new life, and riding amongst the rock formations at City of Rocks. We've explored the Black Hills, winding through pines, and seeing new country. Through it all, Riata has become more than just another mule in the herd. She's a solid, reliable partner in the mountains. One we trust no matter where the trail leads. We look forward to all the adventures ahead with this amazing mule.